Hi, my name is Annika Curtis, and today I will be discussing the portrayal of antisocial personality disorder as portrayed in the movie Girl Interrupted, directed by James Mangold. It's important to note that this film was set in the 1960s, and I say that's important because it has a direct impact on how mental health was viewed during that time and what kind of treatments and methods they use that are no longer around today, or they have been modified. It starts out with this girl named Susanna, who's played by Winona Ryder. She is the main character and suffers from BPD. But however, I will not be focusing on her, but rather on her friend that she finds in the institution, who goes by the name Lisa Rowe, who's played by Angelina Jolie. For the most part, Lisa Rowe portrays ASPD fairly accurately in that Lisa Rowe portrays ASPD fairly accurately in the sense that she fits a lot of the criteria as listed as the DSM-5, and in order to be diagnosed, you have to fit at least 3 out of the 7. And just to give some examples of what that criteria is, it has to do with such as irritability and aggressiveness, lack of remorse, deception, failure to conform to social norms, manipulation, engaging in risky behavior, and the like. As for, like I said, Lisa Rowe does fit a lot of this criteria, and it's shown in the movie because from the get-go, we see Lisa Rowe as having just been retrieved from running away from the institution, and she's hostile and erratic, and she immediately jumps onto Susanna, accusing her of taking away her best friend. So already we know she's fairly aggressive and easy to trigger, that we can tell. As you continue to watch the movie more, you get to kind of see that, wow, Lisa Rowe does have issues with forming relationships. She doesn't show any kind of remorse. She makes up humiliating nicknames for a lot of the girls in the institutions that directly involve their mental illness or their issue that they're dealing with. Examples such as her nicknaming a woman struggling with anorexia Fatso, or a burn victim nicknamed as Torch. As you can tell, these are not very appropriate nicknames, and she has no problem using them or seeing what kind of harm they inflict. Not only that, she engages in risky behavior that could put herself or others in danger, such as having promiscuous sex when she's out on the run, trying to convince other girls to run away with her, and the likes. She shows a lot of manipulation and deception to get what she wants, and she does this through violent means. And in order to spend more time with Susanna, she did drug one of the nurses so they would stay asleep and wouldn't hear them. So you can already see she shows a lot of dangerous behavior. Now, while I did say that Lisa Rowe portrays a fairly accurate representation of what ASPD is, I think it's important to note that it is greatly exaggerated and sensationalized for dramatic purposes, probably to make the movie entertaining and to keep their viewers involved. And there's not really harm in that, but it can also be seen, her behavior can be seen as stereotypical, and that can kind of bring a sort of harm to others that may be suffering from this condition and may feel that the representation isn't nearly as accurate or as considerate of other individuals with different experiences related to the disorder. A lot of the disorder is diagnosed on how the individual was during childhood and whether they had a conduct disorder, and we know nothing of that with Lisa Rowe. We just know her as she is now, so we have no background information on that, which would have been helpful to properly be able to diagnose and determine whether her portrayal is as accurate as it is. As compared to other movies that portray antisocial personality disorder, Girl Interrupted does a fairly good job at showcasing it, and for the most part, they try to stay accurate. And like I said, a part of the issue is that it was in the 1960s, so the attitude towards this condition is going to be different or portrayed differently to fit in with the time period. Overall, I think Angelina Jolie did a great job with this role and tried to make it as accurate as possible. while I do say that I did like the portrayal of ASPD in this movie, there are still a lot of other films that may portray this more accurately and effectively and kind of consider all of the criteria, and especially the childhood background and childhood experiences. That definitely helps narrow down whether this individual really does have ASPD or not. But just being able to look off Lisa Rowe's behavior and how she interacts with others, the lack of remorse, her aggressiveness and irritability, I would say for the most part it is pretty accurate. I don't have a lot of criticism for the movie itself or how they portrayed ASPD. I think one thing I could say is that they could have used more diverse situations or experiences and not merely exaggerated the very stereotypical behaviors that you see in individuals with antisocial personality disorder. But overall, Lisa Rowe was a great character that portrayed a very serious mental condition, and I think it was done fairly well and took into consideration the time period and the mindset surrounding antisocial personality disorder.